I would say that it was inhumane. You were not allowed to, you didn't know the time. You had no information from outside. You could not receive visitors. If you really have to receive visitors, the visitors could be frustrated because it could take them 6 to 7 hours before they could get to you, so they would prefer going back. And that is one thing that I think that, you see, Raymond, let me make this appeal. Anytime somebody is arrested in Ghana, the common thing we say is let the law take its course. Let the law take its course.
Due process.
Due process. Do you know the kind of due process that is taking its course in BNI? Do you know the kind of subculture that they are practicing there?
I have no idea.
Are you aware that it is difficult for lawyers to get access to their clients over there? Are you aware that they most of the time prevent lawyers from seeing their clients? Are you aware that they don't allow lawyers into their interrogation rooms? And that they do their own interrogation and come out to say that the person confessed that? So anytime security analysts and other things, oh, let the law take its course, I laugh, I smile.
But you've been in the police for
I
almost
have been in the police for...
You are not aware of this?
No, listen. I have always been aware of the subculture, not only in the BNI or NIB, but also in the police service.
Okay.
Let me admit that at a point in time when I'm teaching, I tell my students that look, sometimes we are not too comfortable about lawyers coming into our cases or coming to make inquiries about our cases. But
even though that's a lawful thing to do.
That's a lawful thing to do. But wait a minute, what about if your relative was involved?
Okay.
What if your mother was involved?
Or in this case, you were the one that...
Or in this case, what if you were involved? Another time I asked that question, it changed their views and their perceptions. Okay? Anytime they said, oh, some small slap is needed for him to tell you, I said, what if your father was slapped that way? How would you feel? Would you say that was a small slap? So that kind of approach was what I was using, and those are some of the areas that I differ significantly. Because I really will want to go against the normal way of doing things, especially the subculture.
Is that what landed you in trouble?
Maybe some of them.
Perhaps you spoke up too early, too soon, and too loud. You think so?
Well, I have never regretted my speaking out, because at the time I spoke out, I had served in the police service for about 32 years.
Yes.
And remember
that doesn't sound like too early anyway.
Yeah, so it wasn't too early. And by the time I left in last November, I was 36 years in the police service. Mm-hmm. So you couldn't have said that it was too early. And don't forget, this is not the first time that this kind of things are happening to me.
Well, I have no idea.
Let me just give you, if you listen to Kwaku Bako on News File on the 9th of November, Saturday, with Samson, he said that this gentleman, what I'm going to say may sound prejudicial, but he went ahead to say it. Mm-hmm. All the same, though he knew it was going to be prejudicial. I thought he was going to restrain himself because I was under investigation, I was in court, but he went ahead and said that he had been removed from the service before. Yes, I had been removed from the service before because I stood for what was right. Because I challenged my regional commander over an issue, and because of that, I was removed from the service. That was in 2007. I was a commander at Bolga at the time. Okay. I was a superintendent of police at the time. Somebody decided to use the back of the police cell as a thoroughfare. And I said, no, you can't do that. And I blocked it. That was the sin and the crime I committed against the police service. The regional commander came there. I don't want to mention names. The regional commander summoned me. I explained to him. He agreed with me. Third day, he comes to me with the woman and then orders me to open the place up for them. I said, no, master. are sacrificing the interests of the police for the interests of this woman. Match me for the IGP. I ended up being dismissed from the police service. So you see, I always stand for what I believe is right. And even if I get trouble, I still stand for it. And that is why from the beginning of this case, I said, and that was on the 6th of November 2019, that I was going to stand for this to the end. And I stood for it to the end.